everyone, it is Holly and I am here with another video. This one is kind of along the veins of trip planning, and so I thought I would talk about the perks of staying on site at a Disney World hotel. By which I mean, when you are planning a trip to Disney World in Orlando, Florida, you need to stay somewhere. And basically there are two options: on-site at a Disney-owned hotel or off-site at a non-Disney owned hotel, an AirBNB, that kind of situation. But if you stay on site, they tend to be a little more pricey, especially compared to like a standard hotel room. But they do come with several perks that you might want to consider when weighing your options. It's not just a cost factor. Maybe it is for you, but you might want to keep these things in mind too. So the first thing that is available to all on-site guests is early entry to the theme parks. So this used to vary and go from park to park, so it could change. Any of these things could change, obviously. But it used to be like different parks on different days. Now it is all four of Disney's main theme parks: Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. And so it is every day at all four. You get in 30 minutes early. So you get in 30 minutes before the non-hotel staying guests. What they will do is there's usually a separate entrance for you at the turnstiles, and you will scan your ticket, your Magic Band, your phone, whatever media you are using to get into the park, and they will scan that to confirm that you are in fact staying at a hotel. Currently, for the remainder of 2025 and for parts of 2026, you get free water park entry on the day of your check-in. Now, this isn't going to be usable by everybody, obviously depending on the time of year, the weather, and when you are arriving, but it is a perk available to you right now where the day you check in, you can have free entry to whatever water park is open. I know starting towards the end of May, Disney will have both Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon open every single day. The next thing is considered a perk, and that is Disney transportation. So your bus, monorail, Skyliner, and these are all free. Now, technically, these are available to non-hotel guests in that you can use Disney transportation to get around. So if you're staying off-site and you drive into Magic Kingdom, you can park at the TTC and go to the Magic Kingdom and then leave halfway through the day and hop on the monorail back to the TTC and monorail over to Epcot, and then monorail from Epcot back to the TTC to get your car. They're not going to stop and check you. You can use it to get to resorts, but Disney does consider this a perk, and it of course does allow you free transportation from your Disney hotel to the parks and Disney Springs, the water parks, those kinds of things. Another one, and I think this is a fairly big plus right now, is earlier access to the Lightning Lane multi-pass system. So if you are staying off-site, you get to make your reservations 3 days ahead of your trip, and with a hotel room stay, you get to make it 7 days ahead, which means especially for those high demand attractions, you have a higher likelihood of getting a reservation and getting one for a time that works for you. Relatedly is extended access to dining reservations. So you can make a reservation for Disney's sit-down restaurants 60 days out from like the date that you want to make the reservation. But if you are staying in a hotel at Disney, you get to make 60 days plus 10. That means if I'm going to be there for a week, 60 days from now, I can make a reservation for the whole length of my stay, all 7 days that I'm there on today. Versus if I was staying off-site, I would have to get up like every morning and make my reservations every morning. Now, this is less of a perk if you're not doing, obviously it's not a perk at all to you if you're not gonna do any sit-down reservations, and especially if you don't want any high demand reservations. So things like Cinderella's Royal Table, Chef Mickey's I think is still pretty popular, Ohana, those ones are gonna be more high in demand. And my trick for these is that typically we plan our very high in demand reservations for later in our trip, and we make those first because we figure the people who are already there staying at hotels when we get there will already have maybe taken the reservations from early on in our trip. So we go out further where hopefully we're fighting with less people, and then we have more wiggle room so we could like move them around if we need to. Next is access to the Disney dining plan and the free Disney dining plan. So free. So the Disney dining plan is a way that you can prepay for your food expenses. There's different options for the dining plan. If it's something you think you would be interested in, definitely research it. For me, it's personally just too much food and like too constricting. I don't think it's actually that constricting, but the way I eat, it would be. So It doesn't really make sense for me, but it does for a lot of people, and that is something that you can add to your package if you are staying at Disney. And then there is the free dining plan, free. And I say that because typically this is a promotion that Disney will offer, but it is something that you get when buying a package. So a hotel and tickets together. And so basically the discount you're getting is free dining, and oftentimes in conjunction with free dining, there will be some site type of like hotel discount. And so you need to see if those even out, which one makes more sense to you. And the last thing is actually only available to certain on-site guests, and that is extended evening hours. So on select nights at select parks, I believe right now Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios are all doing this, and not Animal Kingdom. If you are staying at a deluxe or a Villa DVC resort, on specific nights, you can see it in the park hours. It'll say extended evening hours. I'll try to put a screenshot up for you what it looks like. You will have time to be in that park with just your fellow deluxe guests. I have personally, because we stay DVC, take advantage of this a lot, especially at Magic Kingdom. It's usually open for like 3 hours, like 10 to 1, and we can get a lot done. And also you're not in the heat of the day, the sun's not beating down on you. So if you're a night person or you can handle being up later at night, I highly recommend extended evening hours. The only problem with them is that typically any like outside characters you're not going to see. There's not going to be a lot of shows like at Hollywood Studios. They're not going to do like Beauty and the Beast, Frozen, those have all ended, but a lot of your attractions are still going to be open. So that's a big perk. For us, this is a huge thing this is probably the thing we take the most advantage of out of all of these at this point. Between this and the transportation, these are the things we use the most. But those are some of the perks that you can have when you are staying on site at a Disney hotel. That, like I said, it is just good to measure this against the cost savings of staying off site at a hotel. I also will say this isn't like a monetizable perk necessarily, but is something that I think is pretty nice. Is at the end of a long day, the last thing I want to do is get in a car and drive somewhere, potentially like 30 minutes. At least, even if I'm going to be waiting for a bus and then getting on a bus and being on a bus for 15-20 minutes to get to my hotel, depending on like what park I'm going from and to what hotel, at least I'm not the one driving. And if I want, and it's safe enough, like if I'm not standing on a bus, I can fall asleep there and that's fine. And your kids can fall asleep and everything. Although I will say, if you're doing like a bus, if your kids are sleeping, you will have to take them out of their stroller and close that stroller up, collapse it to get them onto the bus. So keep that in mind when it comes to kids sleeping, I guess. So I've seen some pretty sad kids when they have to move, or like a poor parent that has to just like lug that dead weight around. So keep that in mind. So that may not be a bonus for you if that's your situation. But yes, those are some on-site perks. If you think I missed anything, please let me know down below, and I will see you later. Bye.